Guys, this is the One Piece King here today. So basically though, with like most of the stuff that's been going around though, the basically like game developments and everything, like they're slowly being, made and stuff. But, of course, I'm probably gonna go into a multi-topic of talking about like, the content in the games basically. Specifically probably ones I've been talking about, which is mainly the Pirate Warriors 4 and Jump Force as well. Um, like with Jump Force though, we're still waiting on the Todoroki DLC to kind of officially release itself out in the game. Because we don't have an official release date yet for that. It only says like spring for Todoroki, so we're kind of on the fence about that and everything. Like, yeah, I think I said it before in an earlier video talking about that apparently that I learned that May is still in the spring, and I thought like maybe a mid-May or maybe like a late May it would turn into the summer season and stuff, because come on, like it's nearly here, come on. But I think that's just because the Texas weather over here. Like if you also live in the state of Texas and everything, Texas weather is really weird, y'all. It really is. Um, because yeah, sometimes like if it turns out to be like yeah, like if since it's spring right now, it would kind of feel like it's summer, even though yeah, like even if it was like April like last month, it would get like really hot outside too and everything, making it feel like it's summer outside, but in all reality it's supposed to be like maybe warm. but but yeah, it's really crazy there and everything. But you know, um the thing of it is though, I'm not really gonna be talking about like, any character predictions or anything. It's more of talking about like, just what's really going on. Because everyone is, basically everyone is trying to be patient, trying to wait for like, more announcements on the games and stuff. I can understand that. I really can. Even I'm, on that as well and everything. I'm on that, patient train myself. Even though, like, whenever Pirate Warriors 4 was, whenever the game was getting released out and stuff, I was not really being patient whenever I heard that, people were getting their physical copies early. I was not being patient for that. I was like, no. It's like, no, this should work for both physical and digital copies, like, regardless. Like, if that was the case, Bandai should have been like, well, we gotta make it fair. We gotta release both, like, at the same time. It's like, yeah, if you release, the physical copies early, you gotta do the digitals early too. But no, it turns out the physicals, they got it way earlier than we did. And for the digitals, we got it exactly, like, it wasn't exactly on the 27th. It was probably like a day earlier, but it was like, some of us, we had to wait until like, I think it was like 10 p.m. Yeah, it was like waiting at 9 or 10 p.m. of yeah, it was like 9 or 10 p.m. of the game. And yeah, bad thing is though is that I had work the next day, and I'm like, man, if I didn't have to work, I would have played that game all night. I would have been like, yes, it's like I'm so proud to play this game. But yeah, I did remember I played like one arc. I played like the Alabasta arc, like the beginning and stuff. But I did love the game though. I'll admit I did love the game. Um, but the thing of it is though, yeah, but the thing of it is though is development wise and stuff, like now that this is all going around, I'm not saying it's being slow. Like I said, I'm not saying it's being slow or anything. Like maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Like they're trying their hardest to like get all that out there. But like if we get some kind of disappointment or something, like, maybe whenever all the stuff finally clears up and everything, and we finally get, the release content of what we've been waiting for, but we realize it's been a disappointment, um, it's either because of the fact of like, yeah, it's either because of the fact of like they did a lot of deciding and everything, like basically, Bandai and all of the game developers as well were, going through like a lot of decisions and everything, and they just decided to do this. And to them, they think that's a better idea, but to the rest of us, though, it's more like a 50-50, towards like half of them would be like, yeah, that's a great idea, do it. The others are more like, no. And I hope it doesn't become like that, because if it does, then that's gonna be really bad. That's gonna be really bad, you know? Because at this point, though, everybody, like everybody at this point that's playing Jump Force right now, of course, like I said, they're all waiting for the five characters to be released, possibly even more coming. Um, yeah, they're all waiting for the characters, but it's just gameplay wise, they're still making complaints about it, like how, a lot of people are still, playing stupidly and everything, like spamming moves or basically doing this thing that they call guard break cheese and stuff, which yeah, I understand that and everything. I actually fun fact, I actually, have a guy and everything, or no, I would suspect it's a guy, but I added them on, my account on the PS4 and stuff. Like I added them to my friends there, and like we became like really good, fighting buddies and stuff on Jump Force. We really did. The thing of it is though is that yeah, they somewhat do like the guard breaks and everything. Like they do that, but it's not like but it's not like basically they're using it to win all the time though. Basically though, like the way how they, do the fighting style and stuff is more like they give, like they'll fight back and everything, but they'll also go and give their opponent a chance too. And that's what I liked about that was I was given a chance to actually show off too. And yeah, so that's basically why me and him became like good fighting buddies and stuff. It's because we give each other a chance, we learn from each other and stuff. Like in our battles, we learn. Actually, the also a funny thing about that though, the next couple fights that we had in the game, he actually did try to do a guard break on me, but I did move out of the way in time. Like, nope. It's like, bruh, I'm learning. I'm not getting hit by your guard breaks anymore. you know. Um, I'm pretty sure, like on his end, whenever me and him were like, having our fight there, I'm pretty sure on his end he probably smiled as like, good. It's like good, you're learning from this and everything, but your tactics I'm starting to learn too. Like, we're both getting smart at this. It's like, yes we are. Yes we are. We were actually having fun. And I think that's the real good premise of Jump Force though, is that whenever it's to me, whenever I do, like ranked matches or even like friendly matches or something, I'm usually looking for like a good fight, really. That's all I'm looking for. It's like a really good fight. I'm not looking for tryhards, I'm not looking for spammers or anything like that. No, I'm not looking for anyone that's really just, so competitive to win. I'm not looking for that, really. I'm looking more of like, I'm looking more for like, hey, win or lose, it doesn't matter to me and everything. I don't know if it matters, to my opponent there, but if it doesn't and everything, like we play like all chill like and stuff and we actually just do our best, whether win or lose, to me, I would say like, hey, that's a good fight. I would say that is a really good fight. It would really depend if they would add me because they think I'm a good fighting, like a good sparring partner or something, or I add them for the same reason. Like it's fine. To me, it's fine. Um, and I think that's what the whole premise of what Jump Force should have been is that it should have been fun instead of competitive. But then again, though, Bandai really likes to go and add in like the arena events and everything, and it basically just has everybody fighting each other just to get pointless costumes that could have actually been added in the game, like just regularly and stuff. Like basically, they have all these files of stuff, and it's like, you know what? We could have added extra little side missions and stuff to the point where you could have actually gotten these or something like just something like that and everything. It's like, thanks. Yeah, we could have gotten that and everything. Like Goku's Yardrat outfit and everything. Like whenever he went to Yardrat after the Namek, like planet Namek exploded and stuff. Goku actually got off the planet in time and landed on Yardrat and basically learned the instant transmission technique and all that kind of stuff. But whenever he came back to Earth, though, he was actually wearing, like the culture of Yardrat. Like he was wearing the outfit of Yardrat, and like basically, if we were to get like a side mission or something like that, basically, where it's like, Goku kind of retells that story a bit. Of course, on that and everything, you do have to go and, like maybe you possibly have to go and fight Frieza because, that adds on to the story of like, oh yeah, like, it's like, yeah, I had to fight, Frieza over here and everything. The planet was getting ready to explode because of him. I made it out. Frieza did not. Frieza, he completely just, went with the planet and stuff and kaboom. Me though, I got off in time. I was lucky. Of course, I was still kind of in pain, I guess, a bit or something, but I did get out in time. And thanks to the people of Yardrat, they helped me back up, and yeah, I got this outfit and everything. Like they gave me their clothes, so that way it would fit into their culture and stuff. And yeah, it was really cool. And plus they taught me, the instant transmission technique. Like we get to learn all that and everything. And I guess like with the retelling, it'd be very interesting, at least on Goku's perspective, to actually learn that and stuff because it's more like we just got to only learn that once, and then it's like we kind of just forget about it because that was so long ago. But then, we kind of just move along and stuff. But still, like, come on, you know, like really, I really hope that would have been like side missions and stuff. Like Goku Black is another matter. The Goku Black outfit and stuff actually could have been saved for maybe a possible Goku Black DLC, like of a character that could have came along. Um, but that just all really depends if they even wanted to do Dragon Ball Super content. That all depends if they wanted to do that. They may have given us the outfit for the CACs, but that's already saying like they basically are wanting to add Dragon Ball Super content in there. That is a literal hint. That is a literal hint because of Goku Black's outfit and even the Super Saiyan Rose hair. Like you cannot tell me that they didn't want to do that because they just did it. I don't. It doesn't make any sense and everything. It really doesn't. Um. But yeah, basically that's just what it is and everything. There was also another event. I don't know if it was also an arena battle or something very competitive where you had to fight other players or something. Um, where basically if you won, you would basically get Kane and Galena's like outfit and stuff. I believe it was Kane and Galena's. Like you would get like both of theirs and everything, even though that it was like Galena, Kane, and Prometheus, basically they got released as free DLC in the game, like they got released as free characters, like all three. Um, and to me, I'm more of like, well, that's cool, but we should also be getting like some sort of moves with them and everything, like some moves. Yeah, like their moves, their outfits, and everything. Like we should be getting that and stuff. I mean Prometheus, that'd be really hard though because Prometheus is more like he's just. I'm not gonna say all natural really, but it's really hard to tell with Prometheus because Prometheus I'm looking at more of like the Martian Manhunter from the DC universe where it's like he's some kind of like like a cosmic being, like he comes from space or something, and he carries all this power too, but it's just like he's not accustomed to, I guess, the Earth worlds or something, or the Jump world. He's not accustomed to them and everything. Like yeah, his original identity, the one that he kept for so long, was Professor Clover. But then of course sorry for spoilers if you didn't play the story of the game, which probably some of you really don't care for, but I'll tell you anyway. Yeah, Professor Clover, the so-called good guy that's on your team, he's never been on your team the entire time. He's actually a guy named Prometheus, like the evil bad guy. Like that's who he is. So when I found that out, I'm just like, I suspected that before, because it kind of matched up a little bit and everything. Even the designs of how they looked and everything. Professor Clover, how his design looked and everything. Like he was bald. I'm not saying like every, I'm not saying like every bald person or something is gonna equal to Prometheus. I'm just saying like him in general was just like, he just looked the part. Like Clover was bald. Yeah, he was bald. He knew everything about the jump worlds and everything, like, every single world of where all the characters came from. Like he knew them all. Uh he even had like little, like he had like a little I wouldn't say wing or something, but it looked like wings on the back. It was like a part of a ripped cape that he was wearing or something in the bag. But but yeah though, and whenever I looked at Prometheus, I'm like, that totally links. Culver is Prometheus, and then whenever, we finally got that reveal and stuff, or at least I did, I was like, that does not surprise me. I actually saw this coming way before I I just saw this, like uh it was just ridiculous and stuff. But but what was really ridiculous though was Kane and Kalena that, we didn't really like, we get their outfits but only by doing like a certain event or something that they had released around, instead of actually just giving us all their stuff whenever the characters were released. Because I think that would have been really smart. That would have been really smart on them, because it's like, you just release the characters, and with those characters we get their stuff, like we get their we get like their costume parts that fit for the CACs, we get their moves, like we get all that stuff. You cannot say we don't get it whenever we do, because it's like an automatic we get it. The minute we get the DLC and stuff, like All Might's United States of Smash, we get that move. I think automatically the minute you get the All Might DLC character, but no, it was more like, like you really have to go and like fight to get this. It's like, no, it's like the missions for, getting the moves was one thing, but, actually fighting other people though, like online people, just to go and either get more moves or, I mean, they never incorporated moves into it, and I hope they don't. That'd be stupid. But for outfits wise, for the CACs and everything, like characters that, have already been put into the game, or it's like different variants or something for the characters. Um, yeah, that to me that sounds pretty stupid and stuff. Like they should have really just been like really careful with that and stuff, because at that point though, with the different variants of the character outfits that we have, it's more like you can like it's more like you can give that to the character and stuff. Like with Goku. Goku, is already wearing the regular gi that he already wears in the series, but now that we have his Yardrat outfit and everything, it's more like you can just slip that onto him, and then there you go, Yardrat, Goku. Like there you go. But thing is, you can't really mess with the main characters of what they're wearing, because it's just their thing. You can't mess with it. But yeah, you can't mess with it, but apparently the CACs, you can just kind of create it, I guess, but to me, nah, because that's gonna be really just difficult to do. But, but yeah, though, like, Jump Force, they really, like, I know it's very slow, but they need to kind of work on it a bit more and everything, and actually be a lot smarter with it, like, at least, that's what I want them to do. With their events and everything, with their events, they should be a bit smarter. And yeah, like with their events, they should be a lot smarter. And also, with the development of character releases, even more missions, more stuff they could add. Also play smart with that and everything. Like, don't be trying to go and like, example with Todoroki again. Don't try to go and say like, yeah, we're gonna release him this spring. We're not gonna tell you the exact like month or day we're gonna do it. It's just gonna be like, spring of 2020. That's all you get to know of Todoroki. Like, dude, you don't want to do that, because then everyone's gonna get mad and be like, we want to know what day it is. Please tell us. And then whenever they don't, well, there you go. There's a problem. Um, but I guess moving off of that and everything, going to Jump, or not Jump Force, I just talked about that. Going on to Pirate Warriors 4 though. Um at first though, I almost thought that maybe they would have released the DLC characters, not not really for the spring, really. I knew they were gonna release them in the summer, but the way as I'm looking at it is more like Smoothie, since that is the first character they actually announced, really. Well, she doesn't have her own trailer yet. It's just on the website of Pirate Warriors 4. Her player model's already in the game already. Well, not in in the actual game, but it's more like they're gonna put it in there soon. Like there's her player model. They even gave a bio for this character as well on the website for her, and excuse me, it's actually very interesting because Alex Swags actually, I was watching his video yesterday about that, and I found it very interesting. I found it very interesting about Smoothie that they're gonna give her a form change and stuff, and Smoothie's gonna be a really like not a difficult character in my opinion to play as and stuff. Like she'd be really great, but it's like at the same time though, like it's like they're trying to give her too much and everything. Like they're giving too much to this character to make it where it's like you have to do all this work in order to make her moves like super powerful and stuff. And to me though, it's more like, I mean, some of them you kind of do have to put in the work. Like example, not really the big characters. No, the big characters you don't have to put that much work and everything because it like one single hit from Kaido and everything on a boss enemy, their shield, their little shield icon already goes down within like a hit or two. I guess that goes the same for Whitebeard and Big Mom as well. But as for characters that are like really small and everything, like Luffy and the rest of the others are like these really small characters, it takes them it takes them a while. It doesn't take them like one single attack to easily beat them. No, it literally takes you like so many hits to go and just take down this big character and everything. That's like trying to go and have that's like trying to have me do the Jack mission where I have to go and beat up Jack and everything. Like the mission was in the mirror world, which I rarely get that map and everything whenever I do the treasure log missions. I rarely get it in the mirror world, which I don't know why. I really like the mirror world and everything, and I love that they expanded it a little bit. It was nice. Um, but yeah. But apparently though, I was supposed to defend this one area in the mirror world, and Jack, I was supposed to keep Jack away from it and everything for like a certain time period. If I was to beat Jack, well, the time would, go down by a lot and everything, making it to where the mission could easily be over. I was using Kaido with this. I think I already explained this before about like the really heavy hitters. Jack is one of them. Jack is one of them. But if I didn't have Kaido though, and if I was using Luffy in that instance, I would have not made it. It would take every Gear 4's like, transformation, whether it be Snake Man or, the Bounce Man, to actually take down Jack, this gigantic mammoth character, because Jack does not play around and neither does Drake. Neither of those two play around at all. Like it would literally take everything out of you just to go and just beat this character. And that is why I didn't, that's why I didn't use, Luffy or any of the other small characters to do that, because I knew I would have lost right there. I knew I would have lost because even with Luffy with Gear 4th, it would have barely even phased Jack right there. It would have barely phased him. So that's why I'm being a bit careful with that and stuff. Like I don't want to send the small characters in because I will lose. Um, yeah, like I will lose and everything. So that's why I don't do that and stuff. But um, yeah, but with Smoothie, um, yeah, but with Smoothie though, it's it's gonna be real tricky. Just by the description, to me, it's gonna be a bit tricky to play with the character. I know I said it probably wouldn't be, but I guess reading the description though, about her character of how to play as her, they say that the more that the more moisture, I guess, putting it because she has the ring fruit and everything, but not ring as in like the ring finger. No, like Not the, not like the ring you put on your finger. No, no, no. It's with a W. Okay, like ring, as in like you ring something out basically. Like that's what she has. Um, but the more that you collect out of that and everything, the more moisture, the more liquids, I guess, that you collect and everything. I don't know if it's gonna have like a bar or something. Like Smoothie's gonna be the first ever character to have like a bar of like how much you collect and how much you can use. I don't know if Smoothie's gonna be the first ever to have that, because technically speaking, Big Mom should have been the one kind of having that, because Big Mom, how she is and everything, like with the soul fruit, if she goes and collects like she goes and collects the souls from either just random, like marines or random pirates or something, like the random riffraffs and stuff, even the chest soldiers as well. um if yeah, basically if Big Mom collects like enough and everything, it's more like she can do some devastating damage. Basically, like she can do a lot of powerful attacks. But I think from what I looked at, Big Mom doesn't have like a little meter on her where it's like you have to collect, you have to collect a lot of souls to, like to max it out and to do like a lot of this and everything. Basically, going back to Pirate Warriors 3, where it was Eneru, and yeah, it was Eneru, it was Moria, it was Frankie. I know there was another character as well. Yeah, it was Frankie in the pre-time skip, where it was the cola meter, where basically like basically of how much cola you have, you can do a lot of devastating attacks and stuff. Like you can do really devastating attacks, but if you're low on it, your attacks kind of like, you'll still be able to do a lot, but you'll basically be, like your attacks will get weaker. They won't do as much. Um, but yeah, with Frankie though, it's more like you have to replenish cola every single time. Like every single time it goes down, I should say, like as a specific term. But yeah, like I don't know. With Moria, it was with the shadows, and it was actually to create more zombies, to like create more zombies to fight for you and stuff. That's why the shadow meter is important. It's just to create more zombies and stuff. So I'm like, it's like, well, that makes sense for Moria. Like that makes sense. And then we get to Eneru though. Eneru with his little static meter. Um, Honestly, I didn't like that for Eneru actually. Like, as an honest thought, I didn't like that for Eneru because of the fact that Eneru is already conducting electricity because he is electricity. Eneru is, electricity, as a whole person in general. Like, that's what he is. So, to me, it's more like Eneru doesn't really need to charge himself because he's already, like he's already charging himself as a battery. Like Eneru is a human battery, and he's already charging himself and everything. Like, he could charge how much he wants, and then just kind of release it out. Like as an attack, like El Thor, he can do that. But the way how they do it in Pirate Warriors 3, it kind of irks me towards like, do we really need a bar meter for Eneru? Like that's the only one I really don't like, because if that was the case, that's like trying to say for Ace, because Ace is a fire user. With Ace, that's like, trying to like absorb, yeah, like absorb more fire or something, in which, they never incorporated that for Ace because it's Ace. Um, but still, yeah, with Ace though, like it wasn't really about absorbing fire at all because he didn't have a fire meter. So, it just doesn't really make any sense for Ace at all. Or not for Ace, but for Eneru, because like I said, Eneru's a human battery. Dude's conducting electricity 24/7, like of himself all the time. So it's just, I wish they don't, add that in for Pirate Warriors 4 if Enero makes a comeback. I hope they don't do that, because that would be the most ridiculous idea ever. I'd be like, no, no. It's like Eneru's already a human battery. He doesn't need to charge himself to do stronger attacks. He could already do it. Like seriously, he doesn't need to charge himself. Um but with Smoothie, again, I really hope they don't do that with Smoothie either, where it's like they give her a bar meter and it's like of how much liquid you absorb and everything. It makes it It either makes it where her attacks get stronger, or it makes it to where she can grow huge because that's technically what she does. And it said that is like a sort of a form change. So I'm more like, mm, like that's cool to give her a form change, but we'll see where it goes because again, we don't need like a little liquid meter or something for her. We don't need that. I think it's just a natural thing where it's like, just like that and stuff. Um, but moving off of Smoothie though, other characters that we already know that are on the way, at least the other two, which is Cracker and Judge, they technically haven't been announced yet and everything. Smoothie was already announced on the website. I believe this happened like back in March, like a late March, early April. I believe it was around there and everything. Well, it actually had to be like in early April because, yeah, it had to be around like an early April or mid-April or something. Because of the fact that the game actually released out like on the 27th. So, yeah, it had to be around in the April somewhere where it was like in early April or mid-April. Smoothie actually was announced on the website and stuff. Like her player model was already shown, and all that kind of stuff. But Cracker and Judge, it's more like we haven't gotten anything out of them yet. I am curious to see what their player models look like. I mean, Judge, not really so much because, with dialogue, story, and cutscenes as well, we've already seen what Judge's player model already kind of looks like. It guess it fits for him, but having him as a playable character and most possibly gonna have him incorporated as a character in the story on the battlefield, just fighting as well. That'd be interesting enough. That'd be interesting. Like that'd be interesting to see. Just with Judge right there and stuff. But Cracker would be more of a different story because with the Tea Party, Cracker didn't really show up because Cracker kind of got, the big KO from Luffy in the Tank Man form. So, yeah, Cracker was not able to fight the whole time. He was out. Cracker was out. Um, but still, though, Cracker, would be incorporated into the story in some way and everything. Maybe as I'm looking at it and everything, maybe the Brule mission whenever you first whenever you first enter inside of Whole Cake Island, like the part one mission basically. There possibly might be a part two, possibly where like even it probably might change to night in the Seducing Woods. It might change into night and everything because Luffy and Cracker, they did fight for like, I don't know if it was like for an entire day or something, like maybe a day or like maybe 12 hours or so, but it was a very long time. It was like a very long fight and everything where Luffy, he did use Gear 4 to kind of, give himself the big W to try, but it didn't do enough for him and everything. It didn't do enough for Luffy and everything, even in Gear 4. It didn't really give him much. Cause all Cracker had to do was keep making Biscuit Warriors and everything to hold Luffy back, and even had it to where Luffy's time limit was out too. Um, but I do hope they incorporate the Cracker fight in there, like maybe more of a part two mission sort of. Because the way how they did with the way how they did where we first enter inside of Whole Cake Island, it was a bit wrong because of the fact of because like the reason why it was because of the fact that everybody, you had to group up with everybody and everything and you had to stay with them, but the whole point was that everybody was separated, and the minute they all got separated, they never really found each other back yet and everything. It was more like Nami was lost and she had to go running around to go find people, but like she had to find the others, but she couldn't when she found whenever she found like Carrot and everything, because Carrot went to go and help and everything. Carrot got trapped in the mirror world and Chopper did as well. um so Carrot and Chopper were kind of stuck in the mirror world and everything by Brule, but that was never really, I don't think that was ever really shown in the story of that. So maybe that does, like maybe they'll redo that a little bit and everything. Like update that a little bit and everything and be like, you know what, we'll make it right and everything. We'll make it exactly as it's supposed to be. It's like, thank you. That's all we ask. Um, and and of course, with Luffy though, he kind of goes off on his own and everything, and actually finds Cracker. Like Luffy actually finds Cracker too, and like they fight. Luffy and Cracker they fight, and like maybe part two would probably be the Cracker fight, where it's like Luffy versus Cracker, and it'd be like very, it'd be very very difficult and stuff because like Luffy, just using all of his hockey moves, it does absolutely nothing to him. But then of course whenever Luffy goes into Gear 4, that's whenever it's a different story and he finally beats him. Um, yeah, and I think you will have to use Gear Force to actually win the fight. Sort of like with Doflamingo and stuff in the Dressrosa story of the game and stuff. Like you actually had to use Gear Force the entire time to actually defeat Doflamingo. So there you go. Um, but yeah, though with the development though, like with Pirate Warriors 4, if we were ever to get another character announcement or something, uh possibly, I think Cracker might be the next one. Possibly, it might be Judge as well. I don't know if both of them would be kind of released out at the same time, and basically Bandai will basically say, these three are your first three DLC characters. They're coming out this summer. Basically, again, they won't say the time because this is still going around, and they don't know when it's gonna stop yet. Uh, but whenever they do, though, and everything, I'm pretty sure they are gonna give an actual official date, and they're gonna be like, you know what, we're actually gonna go and just say like, yeah, it's like June the 12th. You're getting Smoothie June the 12th. Cracker probably might be a little bit later than that, probably like maybe June the 30th or maybe like July, like maybe July the 12th, and then Judge would be August the 12th, and then we would move on to the fall pack. Yeah, we'd move on to the fall pack where basically like we get some characters in the fall there. But the thing is though is that we don't know what the next three are coming to be and stuff. Some of us, like some people are suspecting it's probably maybe a Marine pack. Some of them are suspecting it's a Dressrosa pack, which I would be very happy to see. Some of them are more suspecting it to be like maybe it's just returning characters. Um, at first, though, I remember whenever I was making the DLC and everything, like my predictions of the DLC characters and stuff before I actually looked at, Sergio M3 when he was data mining and stuff. Um, before I looked at all that and everything, I thought with the returning characters that we could possibly be getting because I think he said he also found that in the files as well and everything. So I'm like, that is interesting. Like Bandai says they don't want the characters to come back, and yet they're gonna bring them back. It's like, what's the reason? I wonder. It's because of the fact that people freaking love the characters and stuff. Moria, maybe not so much. Moria was a bit tricky to play and stuff, like a little bit tricky. Perona, people love Perona as I can see now. I didn't really like Perona as much and everything. It was more of using just the giant ghost move and stuff. Like that's all I really used. Yeah, but that's all I really used Perona for was just the giant ghost move. I didn't really use it for any other move really. Well, also her special moves as well and everything, but that's about it. Um, but yeah, but with the returning characters though, I kind of thought that maybe with the returning characters, it's more of they'd be in more different packs possibly. With the fall pack, I was thinking Moria and Perona were actually gonna be in the same pack together. Because of the fact in the fall, October, kind of lands around there. Um, Thriller Bark, it kind of gives, the spooky vibes there and everything. And October is basically Halloween month, spooky month, as some of me and my friends call it, but it's spooky month. Moria and Perona would definitely be, those candidates to actually just, make it in there. Of course, I don't want Perona's player model to be like her in the time skip for Thriller Bark. I want it to actually be like there's a pre-time skip of her, and then there's a post-time skip of her and everything. But of course, I both want them, or I wouldn't say I both want them to be sky types. I think they're gonna do a bit of a change with Perona where it's gonna be like, um, maybe yeah, maybe Perona's pre-time skip would be more of the technical type, and her post-time skip is gonna be her as a sky type because she herself went through training for 2 years to get her fruit to be like a little bit better than before, to the point where she doesn't need to yeah, but to the point where she doesn't need to go and use, like basically leave from her physical body to become a ghost and fly around. Like, no. I think in the training of 2 years, Perona actually did, did go through training to the point where she could actually do it on her own. Um, and to me, like, yeah, that's interesting enough to say and stuff. Like, that's interesting enough to say that she actually did do that. So definitely, I would see Perona in the time skip as a sky type and everything, like having her actually float up in the air and she actually can do like a lot of cool stuff. Um, Moria though, I mean, only cool thing I could say about Moria though is probably give him the awakening of Shadow's Asgard. That's the only thing I can really say. Because every other move I can possibly see him getting some new moves. Some of them might be some old moves where he basically just, again uses zombies and stuff. Um, and I don't know if Morio's gonna use support from, Hogback and the others, because if he does, well, that's already saying like, hey, we're getting some other NPCs in this game and stuff, like Hogback NPC. Like that'd be interesting to see, and a Hogback NPC. Because honestly, I don't see Hogback as being a playable character. Actually, there's not much really for him to be a playable character other than the fact of actually using Sindri as an assist. Like a summoning assist. Every single move that he does, it's either using the zombies, like Moria does, or also using Sindri or Jigoro or the dog penguin as well, Inape, or is it Inupe? I think it's Inupe. Inupe is probably Japanese for dog penguin, probably. I think that's probably why. I think that's probably why. In the game, yeah, I think that's probably why in the Treasure Cruise game, um, they probably call him Inupe. Like they call him dog penguin, but I think I did read somewhere it did say like Inape or Inupe, and I'm like, wait, it's like, oh, Inupe actually means dog penguin. I get it now. I felt so stupid not even realizing that. I used to take Japanese way back in my freshman year of high school, but I didn't actually go through with the class though. I completely failed that at freshman year. I didn't do so well. So yeah, don't get butthurt at me if I didn't actually know that and everything, and that I did pay attention. I didn't actually know what penguin actually was in Japanese. I didn't know what it actually meant. But with dog, it is Inu. All right, like dog is Inu. I knew that one because that one was like basic learning of my Japanese class. Um, but yeah, Hogback would basically just be like summoning assists all the time. Like he wouldn't really be fighting. It's more like just summoning assists. Um, but if I had to say, like again, if I had to say like a new character possibly joining in that pack though, I mean I know it's most likely not even gonna be that at all. Like maybe possibly for season two, possibly. I don't know. Um, but hey, if well, I think returning characters are possibly going to be free because, of course, people's opinions are going to be like those characters should be free because of the fact that these characters have already been in Pirate Warriors since like the way beginning, really. Well, okay, Magellan gets an exception off because of the fact that Magellan is new. I don't think he's been a playable character in the first or the second one. I don't think so, but in three he definitely was. Garp, I believe, has probably been playable in just the second and the third. I don't think about the first one. I don't think so. Kuma, definitely the second and the third. So Kuma should definitely be the free character and everything. Perona, I think, is also the second and third because they didn't do Thriller Bark in the first one. Eneru, second and third. Um, and Caesar was only playable in the third one, but still, Caesar should really just be a free character because like come on, Caesar wasn't really that bad of a character to play as. Caesar, in my opinion, was like a really was like a really good character to play as and stuff. He was really powerful, if I had to say so myself. Um, but yeah, with all those ones, they should definitely be like free characters and everything. But if we were to ever get like their side packs or something where these other characters are going to be new ones, they would be characters we would have to pay for. And Absalom, I could definitely see, coming in for the Thriller Bark pack because, like it'd be very interesting though. Like Absalom actually having the clear fruit ability and everything. I think even his awakening most likely would probably be him actually going invisible. Like, yeah, you'd be able to see him and stuff. Like it'd be sort of like a cloak, sort of where you'd be able to see him. But to the enemies, they can't see him, so you'd be able to do all these moves and stuff, but they wouldn't be able to see you. They would be like, "What is actually hitting us?" It's like, "Where did he go?" and everything, and you'd be hitting them. I know that sounds too broken as an awakening ability for Absalom, but you cannot tell me they can't do that. I would imagine that's what his awakening would be like. That'd be so awesome. I would be like, yes, Absalom was did justice in this game. Like I know people don't like him because yeah, Absalom did some pretty bad stuff to Nami and Robin and everything, and maybe to like a lot of other females as well and everything. But you gotta give him credit where it's due because Absalom, if you've been watching the anime or reading the manga and everything, or doing both, you know exactly what just happened to Absalom and everything. And I think because I wrote his origin story on my Instagram and everything, which well, it's on my old account and I had to make a new one. But it's still there though. It's still there. It's just the problem is though is that the account is on private, so yeah, I don't have control over that and everything. If I ever got it back though, which I don't see that happening, but if I ever did, definitely I would have been like, yes, I will allow you guys to read, this origin story and everything that I made for Absalom and stuff, because I know Oda won't really focus on that as much and everything. Like, there's not gonna be no backstory with all these characters that seem so minor, but like I just decided to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna make it anyway. Like it sounds fine. It sounds fine. But yeah, I basically made it look like Absalom, even though that he was a really bad character and everything that nobody really liked him. I actually made it to where he was redeemable because of the fact that, he lived through his whole life and then he finally met his end. But I didn't give him a bad ending though. I actually made it to where his ending was meaningful. Yeah, I made it to where his ending was meaningful because of the fact that he was so loyal to Moria that he was willing to actually, storm into Blackbeard's territory, to gain some information to, give to Moria so that way they can easily beat him and stuff. They can easily like take down Blackbeard. Moria can become one of the four emperors, and Blackbeard would be out of the equation. Like he'd be out of there. It'd be like, hello, but yeah, but I'm pretty sure the Blackbeard crew already found that out and everything, and we're just like, nope. It's like, here's the thing you could do. You could join our crew, like basically say goodbye to like following Moria around because we know you're one of his crewmates. But say goodbye to that, and you can join us and everything, and we can make use of your fruit there. Your clear fruit will actually be very useful to us, or this is more of a decision of your own. I'm pretty sure you're probably gonna do it anyway, but you're basically gonna stay loyal to him, and we're just gonna like we're just gonna take you out and take your fruit. That's what we're gonna do, and yeah, obviously Absalom took that way and stuff, and Shiryu actually took his fruit. In which a lot of people were thinking, like, shouldn't Shiryu actually take the diamond fruit, like Josu's? And I'm like, that makes sense. That really does. But, I'm thinking Josu's fruit actually will go to Burgess. I think so, because Burgess is trying to become, like, the undefeatable champion of the world, I should say. Like, the undefeatable champion. Like, no one's taking him down. And I think the diamond fruit will definitely do that for him, where diamond is unbreakable. Hence the reference to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4. Diamond is unbreakable. But you get that and everything, like you get that. Diamond is unbreakable. No one will be able to defeat him if he's coated in diamond. Like nobody will be able to defeat him. But from what I learned, fire, yeah, if it's like a lot of heat, um, it basically will break the diamond probably. Like if it was nearby a lot of heat or took a lot of heat or something, it will break it though. So, possibly Sabo, possibly Sanji will have to fight Burgess, from the Blackbeard crew. But either way, though, that's okay. That's okay though. Like at least anybody else that tries hitting him though, it's more like, yeah, that doesn't work. Because Diamond, it's like. Ah, it's like, well, we got a little surprise trick for you. Just fire. Um, you know, but yeah, though. I think Absalom would probably really be like one of the best characters to play as, though. But if I had to say what type would he be, he'd be a technical type. Possibly a speed type as well. I wouldn't see him as a power type. I see him as a technical type, because I think it's the fruit, really. The fruit is, like, the fruit isn't really all about power. It's more of, like, its technique, really. I think that's what, technical, or I think it's called technical, or I don't, it's either called technical or technique type. But with the fruit itself, it is all about technique because there's not really like a huge boost of strength or power to it. It's more like you turn invisible and you can freely walk anywhere without getting spotted, unless people have really high senses and they can sense you even if you're invisible. They would be like, it's like, I see you. It's like, no, you don't. It's like, you just talked. It's like, great. And then just get caught right there. But yeah, though, Absalom with his fruit, though, in the game, though, his character and his fruit in the game would definitely be a technique type of character because, it's just the fruit in general and everything. No real power behind it, though. Um, I think, of course, that goes to Perona and Moria as well, with their fruits and everything. Like, Moria doesn't really seem like his fruit contains a lot of power unless if it's the, Shadows Asgard, in which I think with the form change, with the form change, it would definitely change him from being like a technique type to a power type because the Shadows Asgard does contain a lot of power to it, like a lot of strength. But other than that, though, yeah, Moria is just, Moria would probably just be like a technique type, form change would be a power type, and then there you go. Um, but again, though, with Hogback, though, because I think that's just the last one, though, it's just him really just using the zombies as an assist, like Jigito and, the Dog Penguin and Sindri, which I think those guys would become NPCs as well if Thriller Bark was reintroduced in the game, which please, I hope so. That'd be beautiful. Because you'd be able to just climb inside of the castle of Thriller Bark. Like it'd be so fun, like you can climb inside of the castle, the castle fortress of Thriller Bark and everything, like Hogback's mansion and even the Masked Mansion as well. You could basically it would be like climbing all over the place. I think that'd be very fun to explore. Like that'd be very fun. And also funny thing about that too though is I think the battle with Ors would probably be like, whoa. Whoa. It's like now we gotta deal with that. We gotta deal with Ors. It's like, oh boy. And I think Ors would be a really gigantic boss character and everything. Sort of in the same size as Pika, where it's like, I even tested the size comparison of Kaido and Pika. Pika was actually a bit taller, like maybe even more than what Kaido's big size was and everything, in comparison of like, Pika in his gigantic stone form whenever he just, like he goes really huge and everything, like a stone titan or something. Like, yeah, Pika really will get huge to the point where it's like he's like basically where from like a speck on Dressrosa, you would actually see, like not just the head, but you would see the body too. Like you would see the stone statue just standing on the island itself. Like one single step, one single step will basically like make a crack on the island and basically just like, uh oh. It's like this place will sink if he takes another step. It's like don't take another step. Don't. You'll sink us all. It's like oh. It's like well I guess you're right. I won't do it. It's like thank you. Just stay right there. You know. But yeah, I made the size comparison. Pico was really huge though. Size comparison wise with Kaido and Pika. Like Pika was really huge and everything with the Stone Titan form. But just regular form where Pika's half and everything, like his top half is above the ground because he's merged with the stone. But with the bottom half though, where his legs and everything is in the stone and everything, like again merging himself. With that, Kaido I believe was actually larger than him, but if Pika actually was to stand up and everything and go full on freaking Stone Titan mode, yeah, Kaido pretty much is like a bit smaller than that, and I'm like, okay, you know. But definitely, I could see Oars the same size as that, probably a little bit bigger and everything because of the fact that Oars is a really big character and everything, you know. And seeing Oars even move like that, like probably taking a step to move, I'd be like, oh, it's like, okay, run. Like, we gotta move, we gotta run and everything. Like, one single step from that guy is like, if you ever played Pokemon Ranger Guardian Signs, I remember playing that game. If you ever did the one of the final boss fights, like the final four, yeah, I believe there were like four of them and everything. Like, yeah, it was like three of them. Yeah, there were three that were like the sub bosses, and then you got to the main boss where the last one was Mewtwo. Because that's how it was and everything. You had to fight Mewtwo twice, but anywho. One of them actually had a Regigigas, and Regigigas actually, like whenever he moves and everything, like of course his ability is slow start, so it's kind of hard for him to just really get going and everything. That's the whole point of that. Um, Regigigas has a lot of strength and power, but in terms of the Ranger Guardian Signs game, the minute Regigigas takes a step, it's kind of like it makes like a wave and everything. Like each step that he takes, it's like fwa, like it just makes like this, it basically makes like this wave and makes it where you can't even like make the circles around him and everything. You can't use your stylus and use the circles around him and stuff because each time he does that, it's gonna mess it up. So it's kind of gonna be like that with Oars, where each time he goes to take a step and wants to land an attack on you, it's gonna do some really bad damage. Not saying it will be like a one shot or something. It would be more of like it would really hurt. Like it would basically put you to the point where it's like if you want to do air combos on him and he does that move, it would knock you straight back over to the ground. Like it'd be like boom, and it's like eep, and it just land back to the ground, and it's like okay. It's like okay, plan B. Like basically using Gear Second because this is pre-time skip Luffy and his crew. They haven't done their training yet, so Gear Fourth is not an option. But if you were to do it in the free log with yeah, if you were to do it in the free log where Luffy does have the Gear Fourth and stuff, use that. Use Gear Fourth if you need to, because that would take forever just to beat him. Um. But yeah, I guess like that will really be it though, and everything. Just talking about the development and everything. I mean, of course, I could talk about the Pokemon Sword and Shield development and see where that goes. But honestly, though, I think they're still trying to make Game Freak is still trying to make the development of it though, like slowly, just like the other game companies are trying as well. But we'll see where it goes and everything. At this point, we'll see where it goes. Um. But anywho, though, I guess this will be the end of the video right here and everything. I just hope you all understand that with the game developers and everything, the companies are really trying their best and everything. I know it makes me a bit mad and everything, but I hope that in the end of all this, they make the right decisions and everything. Because if they don't, their games, with all this time that they had for ideas and stuff, will kind of flop. So, kind of hoping it won't flop. Because if it will, that's gonna be real messed up. But Anywho, though, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, leave a like on the video, and comment down below of your thoughts of you think the same way, basically, about, like, just the development wise. Do you think that this is giving them more time, like more time to work, or if it's basically, like if it's basically just, something else really? But anywho, though, I hope all of you have a wonderful day, night, morning. I mean, it was the morning for me though, but I guess it's the day now. Not really great with time zones that much and everything. I don't really like it, but I hope all of you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.